The Sarge is here with one last fight. That's right, we're going to end our Double Dragon series with the Sega Genesis version, with label art that is basically the same as the Nintendo art that's very arcade based. Well, works for me. Let's go ahead and take Double Dragon, pop it in my Sega Genesis, and see how this version holds up. Let's go to the game. Double Dragon was published by Accolade under the Ballistics label and carries a copyright year of 1992. Meaning it came out about 3 years after the NES and Master System versions of the game. It is based on the 1987 arcade hit. According to the manual, you are Billy Lee. Recently, your twin brother Jimmy has disappeared, and the Shadow Boss and his Black Warriors gang has kidnapped your girlfriend Marion and has threatened to take over the city. Now it's up to you and your friend Jake in a two-player game to save the day and defeat the Shadow Boss, who the manual reveals is really your twin brother Jimmy on the opening page. Thanks for the spoiler alert, guys! Double Dragon is a beat-em-up game for 1 or 2 players simultaneously with one standard mode of difficulty. The game also allows you to select the number of lives and continues you get from 2, 4, or 6 of each. Double Dragon has 4 main areas: the city slum, industrial area, forest, and the hideout. In the game, you use the D-pad to move your character and the buttons to fight. Under the default settings, A kicks, B jumps, and C punches, but you can change this if you wish. Doing more moves can be a bit more complicated depending on the move. To do a jump kick, you press B and then A if you're facing left or C if you're facing right at the top of the jump. To do the elbow smash, you press B and C at the same time. To do a knee smash, you press A when you're close in front of your foe. To do a shoulder throw, you press C when you're close to the enemy or when you have them caught in a knee smash position. To do the leaping reverse kick, you press B and then A if facing right or C if you're facing left at the top of the jump, and it only works if somebody is behind you. To do the headbutt, you press the D-pad twice in that direction. To do a roundhouse kick, you press B continuously, and to do an uppercut, you press C continuously. You can also use the C button to pick up and use weapons such as knives, bats, whips, dynamite, boxes, rocks, and oil drums. Graphically speaking, I thought the game looks pretty good and not too far from the arcade version, and while the music was okay, I was actually pretty disappointed with the fighting sound effects, which I thought sounded way too weak. Family-friendly wise, you could see part of Marion's underwear at the beginning and ending of the game, and as expected there is a lot of fighting, including your male character fighting female enemies. There's also a lot of weapons to use, but there is no blood. On eBay at the time of my research, loose copies were going for $20 to $30 and complete copies were going for $50 to $82 including shipping, making this a somewhat rare game on the system. So what did I think of Double Dragon on the Sega Genesis? Well, I thought it looked pretty good, but I had a lot of problems with it. For one thing, the weak sound effects really took me out of the game. Also, while the controls may have been similar to the arcade version, they never really felt comfortable, especially with having to use different buttons depending on which way you were jump kicking. Also, the late release date of the game is puzzling. This may have fit nicely at the beginning of the life of the Sega Genesis, but by the time it came out, Streets of Rage had already been released and did such a good job improving on the Double Dragon formula, it made it hard to want to go back to play the original Double Dragon. So where am I going to rank Double Dragon on the Genesis? Well, let's see. I think the arcadey action of Super High Impact fits the Genesis a little better than Double Dragon, but I would definitely rather play this than Bubsy at 12, so I'm going to make Double Dragon my new number 12 game on the system. Double Dragon is one of the closest ports of the arcade game out there, but it also shows its age on the system as well. If you enjoy retro-related videos, would you please click the like and subscribe buttons? You can now support the show through Patreon as well. Just go to patreon.com/NoSwearGamer. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care and watch out for twin brothers gone bad.